Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of this video series. This is from Grains of Gold by Hanna Karlzon, and this picture here is also in Seasons. Now this is a picture that Tanya has chosen for me to colour. I think it might have been the mushrooms she was daunted by a little bit, and we're going to do the little mushrooms today. It might be the bigger ones she's a bit worried about. We're going to do those later. We're just going to work through the page step by step, keeping it fairly straightforward and simple. I'm using Castle Art gold pencils. Oops. And I was just having a quick look because in the last video I did say that I had swatch charts where you could have a look and see comparison charts for other brands. I lied. I don't have any of those at all. I honestly thought I did, but I don't. So if there's some that you want, please let me know, and I will produce them for you. I'm trying to have a look at my swatch chart now to choose the colour for my mushroom. So I do have a swatch chart, and I have a comparison chart with the soft touch pencils, but that's all I have. So I have no comparison charts with any other brand. So if you want one for Polly's, Prismas, I don't know, Black Widows, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So I'm looking for a colour for these little mushrooms down here. I was going to do it in sepia light, which is my favourite colour, but it's quite pink, and I'm thinking we've got a lot of orangey tones, so I think it's going to go for something a little bit warmer. So I think I might go with looking at the henna brown maybe, or perhaps the redwood over here. I think, yeah, I think I'd go with I start with the cinnamon and then mix it with the redwood. I think I'll do that. So let's get started finding my cinnamon, which I think is in my browns. There it is. So here is the cinnamon. So I'm just looking to see where these are, and they're only along the bottom, so we can come in a tad closer. There we go. I'll put you up a little bit. You can see the piece of paper I've got below the page. So I'm just going to do the whole thing in cinnamon. I'm thinking I want to avoid these dots. What I haven't done with my castles is found out whether they bleed into white. Oh, I have. On my swatch chart I've got a little white dot, so I'm going to find my cinnamon here, and no, it doesn't bleed through, or on the redwood. So if I go over the top of these white ones, these dots by mistake, I can use a white pen and confidently know that they will reappear, because sometimes I am going to make it a bit darker at the bottom and fade it up, so just layering it a little bit more. So if I go over the top of the white bit, I can go over it in a white pen and it will show up nicely. So same here, I'm going to make it a little bit darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. I'm a little bit excited today. My son is just released a video. He's joined a new Minecraft server. Now, I didn't really know what that was, but it's a gang of them, a group of them have got together, 22 of them I think, and they're all going to be playing sort of together and making videos and things. And there is a group that does it at the moment on YouTube, and they're very popular and do very well, so he's very excited that theirs is gonna sort of do well as well. I mean, they're all small scale YouTubers. I had a quick look actually at all of them just now, and most of them, some of them have only got a few followers, like less than 10. Most of them have got sort of 200-300 subscribers, I mean, and then one of them's got 3,000, which is pretty cool, but they've been around for longer than the rest, you know, so they're hoping that they can sort of piggyback viewers off each other, and then because of the sort of collaborative nature of what they're doing, and then sort of hopefully sort of become really popular. So as soon as his first video launched, I watched it. Well, I've put it on to play. I can't watch it. I can watch the beginning, but when he moves in the game, he moves so fast that makes me feel travel sick. So I can't really watch it. So I just got it playing on my computer because I want to support him. I was reading the subtitles and watching for a bit when they were being a bit still, but then they he started just rushing about doing things, and I was like, I couldn't do it. So it's just playing away there in the background, and then he's streaming in a bit, live streaming as well on it. I mean, it's all launched today. What they did was it actually started last weekend, and but they weren't allowed to release anything until this weekend, because just to give everybody a chance to make a video and things like that. Some of them, one person's been unwell, one person's had a hospital procedure, nothing too tricky, and some of them are on holiday and things like that, so they're not all quite ready, but they sort of did it in the fairest way they could. Now I'm going to look for this redwood colour. There it is. A little bit darker. I'm just going to add a bit to the bottom of each of these just to darken them up even more. I don't know how much it's really going to show up. Oh, I can see the difference. Now, I rather enjoy colouring mushrooms / toadstools, so this is fun for me. I'm keeping it fairly simple too. There we go. I just thought of something and I realised I'd only just said it. Oh dear, never mind. Now with the dots on these, they're very small, so I'm not really going to do very much with them, excuse me. With the dots on the ones further up the page, I will do more with them because they are bigger. What I'm going to do with these, so I'm going to get the terracotta light. I'm going to give it a sharpen. There we go. Terracotta light. And then just put a tad in each of the dots, but I'm going to try and leave a bit white as well. It's quite tricky when it's small and when you've gone over the lines like I have, but just put a little bit in. Oh, my eyes itching. Alright, I've got to stop. It's too distracting. There we go. Yeah, there's some tennis on this afternoon, but it's not a match that interests me that much, so what I thought I would do is come and record for a bit, and I might watch the end of it while I'm editing, but as I say, it's not that interesting. I know the tennis isn't on for that long, but what I do know from experience from last year is by the time it gets to the end of the season, you know, when Wimbledon's ending, I'm actually getting a little bit bored of it, so I know that I can take a break. I'm going to use this burnt umber for this sort of gills. Now I want to do it lightly first. So yeah, I thought if I don't watch the matches I'm not so interested in, then I might not sort of get bored towards the end. I think partly it depends on who's playing and how excited I am to see them play. I used to just absorb every match I could watch when I was younger, but nowadays I tend to just like particular players, particularly Wimbledon because they play for so long. Because the men play 5 sets, and with an hour a set sometimes, or between half an hour and an hour, it can go on and on. So it's actually better sometimes to, I've just noticed I missed a bit of leaf up there. It's better sometimes to join it halfway through, and then it's not, you know, you don't get bored. I'm going to just put a darker line next to some of the lines under here. I'm trying to put it beside, but they're quite narrow, so it's a little bit tricky. But getting there. I had a very satisfying experience this morning. I went through my inbox of email and deleted and filed everything. Oh, it's such a good feeling. It's all neat and tidy. Filed away, lovely. I also dealt with some pressing, something I was trying to think about. I'd bought some shoes that didn't fit and I had a voucher to spend instead, and I found something on their website to buy instead, and I quite cleverly managed to find a discount code. Now the stems I want to do in, hang on, I quite like the oyster. Where's my proper swatch list? Here we go. I like the oyster, but I think it's a bit too pink. So I love the green gold. It's actually, excuse me, actually shine. What I'm looking for is a grey brown. I think I do them in Davy's grey. Sometimes it looks a bit pink. But let's have a look. I've got to find it now. It's all very well. Oh. Dove grey, blue grey, argent grey. There we go, Davy's grey at last. So just do a rough bit on the stem and then make it dark up on the edges, and then it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Yeah, so I ordered myself some PJs, trousers for the winter. Mine are starting to wear. I've had them for such a long time. Since before I had my kids, I think. So, you know, not too long, back 20 years. So I ordered, it was a brand that I've always wanted and loved, and they were always far too expensive. But these were discounted because they're winter ones and it's the summer. And I found 2 discount codes, and I had a £10 voucher, and I have my refund credit as well, so that was nice. So I just hope they're going to fit. I got an extra big size. I'm just going to do this leaf in the background here. I've got to rack my brains and remember how I did it. I think the background colour, was it sap? I don't know. No, olive. Olive, was it? Where's the olive green? There. I'm going to try and hope. And then, was there a bit of sap? Or was it hookers? I used different colours, didn't I, for the different ones? I'm going to use a bit of sap and hope that that's right. It'll do. And then I used cadmium yellow, didn't I, on the edges? Just grab a bit of that. Sorry, you may go. Oops. Knock over my pencil sharpener. You might have done this already. On yours, noticing that I've missed it. There we go. Right, now, I'm thinking I might do the sort of background behind here next. Now, they're walking along a path, but this isn't the path. Now I'm thinking, could it be grass or sort of soil? Let's have a look at my colours. I could do it in like a sort of oxide of chrome. I'm thinking if I'm going to do it green, I want it to be really green so it sits back. And actually I've already used my darkest green, which is the hookers. I could use the earth green actually, which is a browny green. I think that will work. So here it is. I'm going to do it this direction so that if you can see the lines, it will look more sort of grassy, although it looks more like dirt, doesn't it? Now it often looks better for a background if you mix the colour up a bit and don't have the same colour all the time, but for simplicity's sake it can be easier to just use one colour. I'm going to lay this down and just see how it looks really. There we go. It's quite backgrounds I know are quite daunting, but these are quite small areas that we're filling in, and so I find it's not too daunting. The sky is going to be a different matter, but I may do that in a soft pastel, but I'm not going to think about that today. I won't even be recording that bit today, so it's fine. It was quite funny listening to my son's video. I always thought that when he spoke he actually sounded like himself on video, but he really didn't. It sounded quite different, which was interesting, but it doesn't matter. I have heard his videos before, but not for a long time. I used to always hear them when he was recording them, so then I didn't need to watch. Anyway, but now his computer's in his room. I don't hear it. But that's okay. And there we go. So it's not too, you know, we've already done probably nearly half. It hasn't taken that long. And it sort of just sets our items up against the background, you know. Things do pop off the page with the white behind. I'm absolutely fine with no background in some circumstances, but because this is a scene, you know, we're outside, we're walking down a path, we've got sky behind us, and I feel it needs to have a background. Whereas the next picture on the next page, in Grains of Gold, which is a sort of more abstract-y twirl of rose vines and things, it doesn't need a background so much so because it's a bit more abstract. Although I think when I did it last time, I did do a background, but you know, it's I did a picture earlier without one yesterday, and it was in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Hanna Karlzon. There's a chandelier, and I just did the chandelier, and I was gonna do a background on it when I first started. My plan was to do one, but there were two reasons why I didn't. Firstly, I thought that it might just smudge into the picture, and I didn't want it to. But secondly, I didn't have the right colour pastels in my set. So there we go. There it is. Now, if these are growing up out of the ground, then these look like they're should be vertical, whereas this ground behind is horizontal, if you think about what I mean. And this bit is further away than this bit to us from where we're looking. So in theory, we should be making it look more far away by changing how light or dark our colouring is in this section. But because it's such a small section, I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Don't want to overcomplicate it, so just going to leave it there. But we are going to do the little stones that are along here, and then we'll do the ones that are on the other side as well. I'm hoping I can find a browny grey for that. We did use the Davys grey for the stems, so I'm hoping we've got something a little bit darker. We have got a warm grey. Maybe the warm grey will work nicely. Yeah, I think it's quite a mix of a grey brown. And what I'm going to do is for each stone, I'm going to try to leave a little light bit near the top. Quite hard when they're this small. I'll show you on these larger ones. And these are obviously gemstones, so to sort of fade it up but leave a white bit like that, so it looks like it's got a little bit of shine. I think little shiny pebbles. It's not, you can't do it with the little ones. Now, someone was saying to me they weren't sure, they're getting a bit confused with shine and where to put it. I can quite understand that. When you're doing a page, really, when you're taught in art class, they will tell you to decide where your light source is coming from and then think about where the light's going to be hitting every item. What I've done is I've just decided they're all shiny on the top because it's simpler. And for me, but if you draw a sun or anything into your picture, or a light source of any type, whether it's like a candle or whatever, then you need to think about it perhaps a little more. Okay, so that's the bottom bit, but I'm just going to bring that down. I'm going to do the same with the stones that go along this top part of the path. I think they would be the same colour. Just seeing how long I've been going for. I like to try and make all the videos in one series about the same length of time. But it's not always possible. Depends on, like the last one, I sometimes make a bit longer just to finish the series because it would otherwise mean one normal and one really short or something. And sometimes it just feels like you come to a natural end. Oh, I'm having a hot flush. They're really bad at the moment. The weather's really hot. I think it's making it worse. But well, I say really hot, I mean compared to most Junes. We've been blessed with cooler weather. But it's definitely warmer today. The silly thing is I've still got my thick winter slippers on. My feet are actually only just warm enough. My body is hot. Yeah, I was feeling a bit down the other day. I'd said on the video that I was feeling better because I've been, but actually I now realise that it was hormonal, which see, I don't know whether this is supposed to be just a fancy rock or a gemstone. Yeah, it seemed that it must have been hormones. So at least that explains everything. You know, it's annoying, but you know, it helps, you know, because I was thinking there isn't any reason why I should be feeling like, I mean, obviously we've got our bathroom problems and things like that, but really, you know, it's okay. So it wasn't, I felt, you know, the way I was feeling felt you know, too bad for just the situation, if you know what I mean, how I would have expected to have felt. But yeah, I've missed a few at the bottom. So now I know why, so I'm happy that I've got an explanation, but I need to be on the alert. So I thought all that I'd finished, but apparently it hasn't. And I've got a tummy ache today as well. But never mind, eh? That's easily resolved with a painkiller if it's necessary. I think I'll be fine. Alright, there are the stones all done. I'm not really sure about the gemstones with regards to colour. So it was a little bit tricky, especially with them being so small. What I'm tempted to do is this path, I'm trying to get it all into view, that they're walking on. And I'm not sure what to do with it really. I'm thinking, is it just a bit darker brown? I'm thinking might work. I'm just having a look at my browns. We sort of go really dark. The permanent brown is always a little bit pinkish, I think, which isn't what I want. I'm going to go for the walnut brown light because it is slightly orangey, which I think goes nicely with the, there it is, with the oranges, but it is still quite brown. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm going to use a scumbly round and round motion for the path because I'm thinking maybe it's pebbles, although they're brown, which is a bit weird if it's pebbles, but anyway. That one I did like that in case it was grass, although I don't get grass that colour. Anyway, this one I'm going to go round and round like this. And we would have done a little section at the bottom, which is quite nice to have done. Still haven't decided. Actually, just thinking about those mushrooms at the top, I'm thinking maybe I'd like to do them red. We don't have a lot of reds in this set. We've got a lot of sort of really dark, sort of magenta-y type colours. We don't have a lot of just plain old reds, but they're very pink. We have a scarlet red actually. The red ochre is quite orangey, so that might work with our sort of orangey theme. I'm thinking I want to stick with these sorts of colours. I'm not sure about the cat though. I always do cat's grey, but this cat could be like bright orange, couldn't it? No? Nah, teasing you. Could do a sort of gingery look. It's quite hard. A sort of tabby, all those colour things I found quite difficult. It's easier for me to just keep it one colour. So I'm not sure. But I'm thinking maybe more of a the sort of burnt brown ochre type colour for the cat, as long as it stands out from this path. But we can always darken the path if it's absolutely necessary, if the cat is getting lost. But I'm thinking with the cat, 'cause of the fur, it's probably best to start off with a lightish colour and then add strokes of darker colour within it to sort of imitate fur. So that might be what I do. We'll see really. Can't believe how quickly the time is going. It seemed like 5 minutes since I was doing videos for the beginning of June, and now it's certainly not the beginning of June anymore. So it's interesting. I was hoping this summer, having my boys home for the summer, would last a nice long time, but it feels like it's going to be disappearing in a flash, which is a shame. But anyway. They probably feel the same way, that they want it to last longer, but they do have rather a long holiday from uni, having finished before the end of May, and they will go back just before the end of September. They were quite burnt out and still recovering really, I think. It's a lot of work, intense work. They've had their marks back now though, and they both passed the year, which is brilliant, passed everything. So there's no need to do any resits or anything like that. And their marks for this year don't count towards their final mark, apart from the fact they just need to pass everything. So they've done as well as they needed, which is brilliant. So we can all relax and enjoy the rest of our holiday without thinking about that, which is nice. I noticed that all of Hannah's characters, people seem to wear these boots. I wonder if Hannah wears boots like that, or whether she just finds them easier to draw. I don't know, I like colouring them anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's just an interesting observation that they always seem to have these big boots on. But I don't know if you follow Hanna Karlzon on social media. Can't speak today. She has a separate Instagram account for her garden, and she posts the most gorgeous photographs of plants and flowers which she loves, which is interesting because obviously that she draws a lot of plants and flowers too, although more people and animals as well, which is something that I found very daunting when I first looked at her books, despite the fact that I absolutely thought they were beautiful. The fact that I would have to colour people was very daunting, but not anymore. The fact that I've got to colour people with Castle Arts Gold is a little daunting because I'm not sure I've ever tried before, but I'm sure I can have a good go. And her face is quite small, so that makes it less daunting. I think if you're feeling worried about colouring people, choose something small. The first one I did actually, or one of the first ones I did was I did Ivy from Johanna Basford, but the first Hannah one I did was a hand rather than a face, so I could just try and get the colour right without worrying about all the features and details, which, you know, face is, in my opinion, more complicated. I think to draw is probably easier than a hand. I don't know. But I've not tried to draw. I have tried to draw both actually. Although I can't really remember. Drawing is stressful for me, whatever I'm drawing. So anyway, I think that I did a hand first, but a small face is always a good way to start and practice, because it's a little bit less daunting. There's less area to have to cover and worry about, that sort of thing. So that's what I would advise. And also you don't have to do it conventional colours, because getting the colour right is quite difficult as well as getting the shading right. So do a face but colour it blue or green or red, you know, a different colour to what it should be, and then you can just concentrate on the light and shade and get that bit sorted out before you then try and work out how to make that into the right skin colour. Right, let's have a look. There's our path. I think I'm okay with that for now. There's a possibility I might decide to go over it a little more, but I think I'm going to leave it, and I think I'm going to make that the end of this episode, where we've just done a little bit more work towards the bottom. Next time we will move on to, I'm not sure, we'll either do the girl or the cat or the mushrooms. That's it, isn't it? Oh, we've got the jewel stones and the ant. So no, I'll decide. Probably at some point before the next episode. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping that you have a really super day. And please like, subscribe and comment. And happy colouring.